Good evening, Yorktown. It's Supervisor Matt Slater here with another COVID-19 update. Today is Friday, May 1st, just after 6 p.m. Hope everyone is getting ready for what's supposed to be a very nice weekend. I'm joined with a good friend of ours, Lakeland School Superintendent George Stone. Dr. Stone, thanks so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Matt. I know everybody's got more questions than we have answers, so
Yeah,
I'm happy to provide whatever I can.
I appreciate it. I just want to quickly, for our residents, go through a couple of data points and a few town announcements. And we're going to jump right into really the big topic of discussion, which is our schools. Today, Yorktown stands at a cumulative number of COVID-19 cases of 454. That's an increase of 3 from yesterday. So we are seeing actually for the last about 3 or 4 days a real slowdown of the increased number of COVID-19 cases, despite the increase in testing. So that is promising. Westchester County is now at 29,232, which is an increase of 262 cases. And New York State is now at 308,314, which is an increase of 3,942 cases. A few additional announcements. The federal government has extended the census to October 31st. So if you haven't filled out your census and you've received that material in the mail, you do still have some time. They have extended that till October 31st. The water meter readings, our water department is going to begin water meter readings this coming Monday, May 4th. We have not read meters in over a month because of the COVID-19 crisis. We're going to do our best to try to tackle 2 months worth of reads in 1 month. The areas that are going to be focused on are as follows. All of Gomer Street, including all side roads east to the town line with Somers and west to Quinlan Street. All of Douglas, Curry, and connecting roads. All of Jefferson Village, Hill Street, and Lee Boulevard. That's including High Meadow Condo, JV Mall, JV Shop Center. All of East Main Street and Jefferson Valley from the Taconic State Parkway, east to Somers and Carmel Town lines. All of the Crossroads, Ponderosa, London Woods, western end of Wildwood, as well as Swed and Edgewood. To be clear, all of our water department employees will have face masks on, gloves, as well as wearing water department attire at all times. And if approached by the public, they will be practicing social distancing. I also want to share with folks at home that I did sign in another emergency order. It's on our website. The most important piece of the order relates to parking down near the T-Town area. Last weekend, we had a very dangerous, frankly, situation where we had a large number of folks who came to enjoy some of our trails, many from Connecticut, but it posed a serious safety hazard. In working with Highway Superintendent Paganelli, as well as Chief Noble, we've decided that it's important to establish no parking zones. So we have modified the town code through an emergency order and are now prohibiting establishing no parking zones at Spring Valley Road from Route 134 to the Cortland-Newcastle Town line, Blinn Road from Spring Valley to Journey's End Road, T-Town Road from Spring Valley to the Cortland Town line, Journey's End Road, as well as Grants Lane. And again, we had a very dangerous situation last weekend that was raised to our attention where residents weren't able to actually get through those roads because of the volume of traffic, of not just traffic, but cars parked on the side of the road. And to the point where we were not able to get a fire truck into that area if there was an emergency. And so working with our friends at T-Town and our residents down in the surrounding area, we thought it best to make that decision for public safety. As a reminder, if you're going to go out, and the sun's out right now, but if you're going to be out tomorrow or over the weekend and you go to one of our trailheads, because our passive parks, and that includes our nature trails, are open. If you're going to go to one of our trailheads and you do see an abundance of cars, please try to find another trailhead to go to. That means that it's too crowded for your use. Also, as a reminder, if you are heading out to one of our passive parks, you do need to wear a face mask or a cloth covering if you cannot observe social distancing. And again, that's qualified as 6 feet. Last couple of items. The planning board meeting is set for Monday. That'll be a teleconference meeting. The town board meeting is on Tuesday, also teleconference. And the zoning board is now scheduled to meet May 28th, and that'll be a teleconference meeting. Last two announcements, and then we're going to get into the news of the day for our schools. I spoke with the VFW commander, Alex Mandera, and we have decided, and I spoke with the county executive and the county attorney and raised this on the county call earlier today. Memorial Day Parade is going to be canceled for the town of Yorktown. This is in large part due to Governor Cuomo's New York on pause order, which is, while it's set to expire on May 15th, right now no social gatherings are currently allowed under the order. We do not believe that we're going to be able to pull a parade together, nor do we know at this point in time what these social parameters are going to even be allowed, should we even be able to do. And so at this point in time, we've made the very hard decision to cancel the Memorial Day Parade for the town of Yorktown. We have asked the governor's office to provide some relief so that we can have a small socially distanced ceremony with our VFW and our American Legion to pay honor and tribute to our soldiers who paid the ultimate sacrifice. But there will be no parade this year in the town of Yorktown. In addition, the Lions concert series, I received news on this today as well. The Lions concert series for June and July are canceled, and they are waiting to make final decisions on the August concerts. And I know this is one of the highlights of the summer for many, including myself and my family. But again, considering the parameters that we were all operating under, we simply cannot, one, legally gather in that manner, but two, looking forward and trying to anticipate what life will be like once the New York on pause is lifted and we begin to reintegrate into society. Gatherings, attract people from other regions are not going to be allowed. And we all know how popular our Lions concerts can be. And the Lions Club has made the very difficult decision, again, for June and July to cancel their planned concerts. So with that being said, again, I am joined by Lakeland School Superintendent, Dr. George Stone, who's been just a tremendous friend and partner during this crisis. And Dr. Stone, I know that the governor made a very important announcement today about schools for the remainder of the year. All schools, public, private, as well as colleges, public-private colleges, are closed or not going to be. Buildings are closed, but they'll be closed for the rest of the academic year.
That's right, Matt. Really, no surprise there. We all anticipated that would be what would be the decision. It would have been, the sooner we know these kinds of things, the better. As you know, for planning purposes. It's kind of hard when things wait till the last minute. A couple of the points the governor made that we're still investigating close for the remainder of the academic year, and all school districts have different calendars. So the exact date we still need to get clarified. We do have a 180-day requirement in law, but we have a 187-day calendar. We build in snow days, and most boards have philosophically gone to more than 180 because they want more instruction for students. So from that 187-day calendar, we have to subtract a few of the weather days we had early in the year. Then we have to subtract a couple of the COVID infection days before the governor formally closed schools. And then, of course, on the other side, we have to see what about our vacation days that we put back in the calendar. Right. And the issue for school districts, of course, is 70% of our costs are labor. If we go over the mandated calendar days, we would have to pay additional salary, which obviously under these budget conditions would be a concern.
That's for sure.
Beyond that, he did say that they're considering summer plans. I believe later in May, they're going to specify that. We were already discussing, we typically hold, obviously we hold the ESY extended school year services for special needs students. That's in the law, and we will continue to do that as best we can under these conditions. That's a given. We also typically hold a credit recovery program for high school and middle school students that are failing courses, particularly Regents courses that they need to get credit for.
Right.
And we would typically hold that in the summer. This year, school districts have been talking a lot about trying to remediate all of the different skill levels that are probably getting distributed across the spectrum because of the timeout, the electronic learning, the access to devices, the speed of the internet in various homes. So all those factors together make it hard to know where we stand. And now that the governor's indicating that he may be directing by executive order a summer school, we're going to put all those plans on hold until we get further direction from the state. Other than ESY, obviously, we will move forward with our plans for extended school year. And then the other big issue, a humongous, huge issue, is how we re-enter in the fall. And, and you know, if you're going to practice regular sanitizing, yeah, with high school students, middle school students, that's easier. But with elementary students, it's not as easy. We have lunchrooms. We can't feed lunch all day to small groups. That's a big issue. Busing, if we have to keep students 8 feet apart, even one student on a bus would basically triple the number of bus runs.
Right.
So there's just a spectrum of challenges that we're gonna work on. The governor's slide today in his presentation basically said, here, you're going to come up with a plan. Here's what it has to do. But there wasn't a budget line in there.
Right.
So
That's always the key.
Yeah. So we're going to be working on that. Obviously, we'll be looking for probably a lot more shared services through our BOCES, because that not only lowers the cost, the initial cost, but then brings reimbursements and state aid on the back end. So we'll be probably be looking to do a lot more of that. We continue to provide continuity of instruction every day. Teachers are learning new techniques and strategies. They're having more and more meetings. I know it's not perfect, and kind of like that educational bell curve, the middle part, the large majority are pretty well getting their needs met. Your students that are lower achieving students, it's harder to keep track and give them the individual attention they need.
Right.
And the same with our accelerated students that are looking for enrichment. The good news for them, however, is there's a multitude of websites and even college programs they can investigate. So they have, as long as they have access online, they're probably going to be all right. Obviously, celebrations up and down the line. All of our principals are trying to provide the same end of year celebrations and recognition ceremonies that they would have done, like the moving up ceremonies in the elementary schools and middle school, the award assemblies, honor societies. We're trying to do that, and we're trying to keep them their release dates kind of in line with our calendar that was produced at the beginning of the year. That way, it'll be more of a normalness to it.
Great.
Obviously, the big one is high school and our seniors, and all of our seniors, their graduation and their proms, but also all of our student athletes and student performers and student artists that display this time of year, perform this time of year. are competing this time of year. All of that is just heartbreak. It's heartbreak to us, especially with new facilities and new fields that we were dying to get on and watch them all play. I know that, people are emailing, can we walk the fields? Can we say goodbye? And somehow we're doing our best, but we still have to follow the health department guidelines.
Right, exactly.
Which make it a lot harder.
Yeah.
But we are, I'm committed. I'm promising some kind of a graduation ceremony, meaningful graduation ceremony. We would like to do it in our stadiums, but the same way you're canceling gathering events.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem, right?
That's a problem.
The problem is, and I don't know, have you heard from the governor's office about, are they going to give some type of reprieve for an event like that?
That is a question. I'm on the state superintendent's House of Delegates, and in our meeting yesterday, that was a question that was asked. If schools closed, do we have access to our stadium after the date that schools closed to use it for a ceremony? I think the answer is probably, if we ask, is probably going to be no. And we could put the students distanced apart on the field, but parents are going to want to be there, and to have them distanced, it's not looking like that's going to be able to happen. But we can't thank the JV Mall enough. They are very excited if we choose to go that route, to do this with cars. They have a million ideas. They've done this for the previous parades.
Yep, we had the Lions.
Talked about wide screens. Local Live, our streaming for athletic and performances, has agreed to make sure that we could stream this into cars and into phones, and then we could put it through car radio. And student, whether it's a parade or whether we announce individually, they get out of their car and they're, recognized, and we, award them their diplomas. We'll come up with something. The principals and their school student leaders and their parent groups are all working on this now.
Yeah,
we will do something meaningful that they'll remember. Then if they want to come back in the fall and do something later, that would be great. But we don't want them to leave, because, as you know, once you leave, they start to scatter a little.
Yeah, exactly. And I said it to you, and also to Dr. Hatter, whatever way that the town can be helpful. And I think in support of, you have our full support in whatever way that we can partner with you on this. I've been receiving emails from parents as well, Facebook messages, tweets asking the same things.
Right.
What are we doing for our seniors? And it's
and I'm going to take you up on that too, because I think
you let me know what you need.
The more community spirit and involvement, the better these kids are going to feel.
Yeah, and it really is upsetting. Having grown up in this community, having experienced a high school graduation in this community, I know how special that is, and I know how special that is, not just for the individual students, but the families. And
keep in mind, this was my graduation too. So
I know it was.
I am heartbroken, like the rest.
By the way, I did when I did share that you were going to be joining me tonight. I have to say, I had quite a few people ask me to pass on a message to you, which is, please don't go. And I echo that 100%.
I'm sure the district will be in good hands, but I'll be happy to help any way I can.
You've got a great team over there. Real quick, a couple of other points. Regents exams have been canceled now for August as well. Yes. Is that correct?
That's correct. They're starting to schedule for next year. Way down the line, I think.
Do you have any sense? Do you have any sense when it comes to like SATs and ACTs? How is this going to impact the college admissions process for those 11th grade, those juniors, sophomores, juniors who were already deep in it?
The only thing that we've heard from the colleges that we've been in touch with is that they understand, they're going through similar kinds of struggles of how to cope and how to adjust everything. The only thing they've made clear is that they don't want pass fail grades. They want
actual grades.
They want grades. So we're coming up with a pretty fair system. I've seen the first drafts, and it's looking pretty fair. Obviously, we'll wait much heavier on the work that was already completed before all this happened. And then depending on the effort put in and the circumstances of the homes and all that, adding a factor from the remainder of the year into that to compile a final grade.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
You got to shake your head at it. I mean, there's a
lot of better minds than mine working on it. I'm happy to say.
There's really no words to describe it, but I just hope that everyone at home and they should the confidence that they should have in our individual school districts, as Lakeland as well as Yorktown.
Right.
I've been in touch with both you and Dr. Hatter consistently, and I got to say, for everyone at home, and listen, my 4-year-old's about to start kindergarten, so my family's going through this as well, as long as everyone else is. And it's very hard. It's very hard. It's emotional. My wife in particular, very, very emotional for her because she was looking forward to, the moving up ceremonies from preschool to kindergarten, the first time on the bus, all those things that, our kids are unfortunately going to experience very differently. But just because it's different doesn't mean it's bad. And I have a confidence in our schools and our school districts that they're still going to make it a very special and meaningful experience if you're just starting that process like my son's going to be, or if you're just ending that process like our seniors right now.
Well, here's the way I look at it. If you, other than seniors, if you have a student or a child in any other grader coming into school, things are going to get back to normal. And I think there'll be some positives taken away for those children and these families because they have spent probably more quality time, as the governor said today, more quality time together than they did in all the years those kids were going to school. Yeah. So, that is something that that bond, I think, when they grow and mature, they'll always remember that their parents and their family was there when nobody else could be. Yeah. And I think that's going to change society for the better.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I can just tell from my personal experience, with my little guy it's really important to make sure that you're obviously there for your kids during a time like this, because there's a lot of questions, uncertainties. I try to get home, for lunch with him. It's like a new thing that we've been doing, really for the last couple of weeks. And yesterday I found myself doing like kids yoga with him. So it's great, but it's like,
I pick out my granddaughter's clothes every morning. So
I'm sorry?
I pick out my granddaughter's clothes every morning.
There you go.
She calls me. I pick out her shoes and her hair thing. And
there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I deep down, I believe that's what they're going to remember. They're going to remember those moments, those are the good things that they're going to remember. And hopefully, I believe that kids are versatile and they're resilient and they're going to overcome the challenges that this has posed so much easier and so much better than adults. But it's, having 2 school districts and having leaders like you and Dr. Hatter are just really crucial aspects for our community. And I really just want to thank you, the entire
this is, as Lou Wool, who's the superintendent in Harrison, lives up here. He's always said that this area is the best kept secret in the state because, you're getting such a high quality education. We offer so many opportunities for students, whether it's the arts or athletics or academics. They go on, we hear about all our kids, working in amazing fields all over the world. Yeah. So we have so much to be proud of. And that's all because of, the stakeholders are the entire community, and their voices are all heard when we make decisions.
Before I forget, I had one more thing that I wrote down that I want to talk to you about: Feeding Westchester. Yeah, I know that you've been partnered with Feeding Westchester for quite some time. Can you give the folks at home some information, especially those maybe in need, so that if they need to access their services, they can?
Certainly, yeah. The program is growing and growing, and this is one of the very few programs where the state and federal governments are fully reimbursing us. And when you put the financial structure along with the people that we have working in food service, it's just an incredible program. And I know there are well over 20,000 meals every time they have the distribution. It's growing. They've actually moved it to the JV Mall. The next one will be this Wednesday, and they're providing breakfasts and lunches. And we have many people that contact us to volunteer and help. So that is one program. If people are in need, be patient, because the line is the line, but we have gotten everybody through on hundreds of cars, and it'll be much easier at the mall with that kind of space to do it. So that's a tremendous program. And I
know Lakeland's also been the Lakeland community has been very supportive also of St. Mary's.
St. Mary's, between the two, we're covering a lot of ground, and we're so thankful for them and all their efforts, and the people helping with that one as well.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Stone, I really want to thank you for taking the time to inform the public and inform our residents and our parents and our students about today's news. I really want to also thank you just for your friendship, your partnership, and your leadership. I echo what everyone else who called me when they heard you were coming on saying, and we don't want you to go. And I know how valuable you are to this community, how valuable you are to our school districts, not just your individual school districts, but your leadership across the state has been tremendous. So again, I really want to just say thank you.
Well, thank you right back at you. Sometimes I feel like I watched you grow from a little boy to town supervisor, but as long as I've been here. But and I know you're doing tremendous things there as well, and we're thankful for the partnership and between the town and the police, and same with the town of Cortland. We're just blessed to have the kind of partnerships that we have in this area.
Absolutely. Well, it's Dr. Stone again. Thank you, and everyone else at home. As we always say, any new information we'll provide.
Matt, that's just one more thing I wanted to say. This, as you know, the landscape's changing minute to minute.
Right.
That's why I'm trying to update as often as I have information that needs to be shared, and I will continue to do that.
Yeah, you've been tremendous. So is Dr. Hatter. And as before I forget, for our folks in the Yorktown Central School District, please continue to check the Yorktown Central School District's website. Dr. Hatter continues to provide updates. One thing I do want to share from his update today, for the class of 2020 on Monday, May 4th at 7 p.m., Mr. DeGennaro, his administrative team, and Dr. Hatter will be hosting a virtual meeting with the class of 2020 and their families to discuss some important matters pertinent to the class of 2020. And there is a feedback platform that's going to be open until Monday morning. There's a link right on Dr. Hatter's update, which you can find right on the Yorktown Central School District's website. And so for all of our Yorktown parents, please make sure that you're staying in touch with the school district and receiving those notifications. And again, I want to thank Dr. Hatter, who couldn't be with us tonight, but for his continued partnership and leadership as well. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you enjoy a quiet weekend. I know the weather's might be supposed to be nice tomorrow, but please remember, we still need to be vigilant and focused on the social responsibly on the social responsibility we have to make the right decisions, because quite frankly, there are still people. We saw the numbers today from the governor, heard from the county executive. There are still people who are contracting COVID-19 and frankly, who are losing their lives to COVID-19. So if we want to lift the New York on pause order, let's continue the good work that this community has done. We've done a tremendous job, but it doesn't end. And so with that being said, stay safe, stay healthy. Dr. Stone, thank you. And we'll see you,
Matt.
Have a great night.
You too. Thanks.
Bye-bye.